Hey everybody! In this episode of the Addams Family Recap, we are going to be watching the episode The New Neighbors Meet the Addams Family. Yep, that's the title. So, in this episode, two newlyweds move in across the street just to find out the horror that their landlords are, in fact, the Addamses. This is actually a very common storyline in the Addams family. I feel like I've seen this many times throughout the different series. I know for a fact there is a episode just like this in the new Addams family. And I'm very excited to rewatch the original 1964 episode to see how similar they are. So let's get a treat, grab some popcorn, grab a snack, and let's watch the new neighbors meet the Addams family. Again, that's the title. We first see Morticia feeding Cleopatra her plant, and her plant is gulping, and Morticia says, "No gulping, it won't digest properly, slow down your eating." Cleopatra does in fact almost choke on her meatball that she's eating, and Morticia's like, "Honey, I told you, do not gulp, slow down while you eat." Morticia is very caring, especially when it comes to her plants. Morticia comes over to Gomez and she's like, "What do they look like?" And Gomez is like, "They look like moving men to me, Morticia." And she's like, "No, the new neighbors." He's like, "I haven't seen them yet. They haven't come out. I've only seen the moving men." But from what I can tell, the moving men seem to know what they're doing. They see the moving men moving in some big weird boxes, one that looks somewhat like a coffin. So Morticia's like, "I hope they're creative and fun." And Gomez is like, "I heard from the real estate agent that they are some newlyweds." And Morticia's like, "How romantic. I love newlyweds. So beautiful, so loving." So the neighbors across the street are now looking over at the Adamses saying, "That's a terrifying house." And the wife is like, "I don't love that. They look scary over there." And she makes a whole big point of how they got married at the Justice of the Peace. They didn't even have a honeymoon. They just got married that morning and moved into this big house. And now across the street is a scary house, and she is not ready for this life. And that's the problem. I don't think she should blame the Adams for this. She should blame herself for rushing into this. Is she ready to marry this guy? When did they meet? They literally got married at the Justice Beat this morning, and now they're like not even getting a honeymoon. Did they even talk about this? I think this is a problem for her and her husband, and she's gonna blame the Adamses. I can feel it. Meanwhile, Gomez is giving Aristotle the octopus a sponge bath in the little pool thing, and Morticia's helping him, and they are hoping that the neighbors come over to say hi so that they can introduce themselves to the new neighbors. Also, yet again, we're seeing Aristotle. He knows how to ball. I know Aristotle. The neighbors come over because they heard a loud sound. Gomez introduces himself, and this couple already looks a bit shook up. They are not going to be prepared for what happens. They just saw them bathing an octopus. The wife is really adamant about, "We want to know what the explosions were. What's going on? Is everything okay? Why are they blowing things up over here?" And Gomez is like, "What are you talking about?" And then another explosion goes off, of course. Aristotle scares off the neighbors. They're like, "He's very friendly. He's our son's octopus." And they're like, "Ah, he's an octopus." I do think it's cute because they don't have a real octopus on set. So it is very much them kind of like playing with the tentacles and pushing it down and be like, "Oh, look at it, look at it, look at it." Honestly, I feel like that's a good old school trick. Practical effects are still pretty decent. We should go back to practical, guys. The wife has a whole speech about how he shouldn't have rented the house without consulting her. He shouldn't have picked a house out for them without her approval. They didn't discuss this. This is no way to start off a marriage. And I agree with her because this, again, you're going to blame the Adamses for this, but you rushed into this. You did not make a plan. You and your spouse are not talking about things, and you cannot blame the neighbors across the street for your problems. That is no way to live your life. You need to take responsibility for yourself. You should have looked at the neighborhood. Do you know if there's good schools? Do you even know her middle name? How long have you guys known each other? You're just rushing into this. I don't think this marriage is going to work. There's in this really stupid gag where the husband is hanging up a picture frame. There's in this really stupid gag where the husband's hanging up a picture frame and he's not, you hear the knocking of the hammer and there's a knock at the door. Knock of the hammer, knock at the door. It's going to be the Adamses. This is going to be kind of cute and quirky, and this family's going to be rude about it. Twist, it was a trap door being knocked on and Fester pops up. That, honestly, that's fair to be freaked out by because you did not expect someone to be coming through your floor with his little bald head and his little monk outfit. That's a fair thing to be a little freaked out by. They nail down the trap door, they nail it shut, and she says, "Enjoy your wedding day without me," and she runs off, and he's like, "No, come back, this is our wedding night," and she's like, "I'm out." The rental agent shows up, and the wife gives the husband an ultimatum. She says, "Either you get us a new house or you can get yourself a new wife." And they tell the rental agent, "Can we get out of the lease, please?" And the rental agent's like, "Huh, I'm just the agent. I'm not the landlord. And they're like, well, who's the landlord then? And he's like, oh, that gentleman across the street, Mr. Adams. Dum, dum, dum. Oh, no. The person that you're already making fun of is actually in charge of your life. And now they're going to be in charge of your house. Ooh, sucks to suck. Fester has a big bump on his head, and Gomez is tending to it. It's very sweet, very cute, very much family oriented, very family friendly. Morticia's like, Fester, you can't just barge into people's houses. You have to knock. And Fester's like, I did knock. And Morticia's like, these neighbors might be peculiar then. They might not have good manners. They're knocking and you're just hitting Fester in the head. Everybody else, also, did anybody else notice how often Fester gets hit in the head? It's like, I feel like we're like episode 9 or something like that, and he's already been hit in the head like twice, like on camera. That's crazy. Mama says there's only one thing you can do, and that's get rid of them. And Gomez is like, we can't. They just signed a lease, and I'm a good landlord. I'm not going to be kicking them out. Also, Mama is sharpening her axe. We have not seen her in like 2 episodes. And she's sharpening her axe. Get it, girl. Yes. You know I am such a Grandmama fan. I love her so much. Also, I love that we're also finding out that Gomez is also a landlord. So, as of right now, we know at least 3 of his jobs. He is a lawyer. He is in tax brokery, I believe the word is. And he landlords. Good for him. No wonder they have money. I feel like a lot of people speculate where the Addams' money comes from. They're like, oh, is it like stolen treasure, da-da-da-da-da, whatever. No, Gomez has like 3 jobs that are all very lucrative. Mama then says she hasn't used her axe since the tax man was here, and she's ready to use it. Honestly, I want to spin off about Mama. I want to know more about her life. What is she doing when other people aren't around? I love her so much. Morticia and Gomez talk Fester and Mama off the ledge about going after the neighbors, essentially. Mama and Fester are like, we'll go in the dark of the night and we'll get the upper hand and we will get rid of these people. And Morticia's like, no, they're our neighbors. You cannot do that. The agent stops by to talk to Morticia and Gomez. The agent's a little bit afraid of Morticia, but he does compliment her dress, which I think is nice. Because at the end of the day, I do think the Addams have a lot of friends. Even people who wouldn't necessarily associate with them normally understand that these are good people who will make the money and they will work well together. So the like the little Asian guy is pretty much saying, well, they're gonna have to deal with it. They can't break the lease. And Morticia and Gomez like, okay, whatever, we don't care. So honestly, here's the shenanigans that I'm going to guess is that Morticia and Gomez would let these people out of their lease. They're not evil. They wouldn't like hold people to that. They'll let them go if they want to. If they don't want to live there, they're not going to keep them trapped in this house. And then you're going to have the married couple is going to blame the Addamses for not letting them go, when in reality, the agent doesn't want to lose his commission. Morticia and Gomez are trying to figure out how can they help the newlyweds feel more comfortable and feel better there. And they go, oh, it is their wedding night. They might feel a bit lonely. Let's go over and like hang out. Let's go over and check in on them. Which honestly, I don't think that's the best idea. It is their wedding night. Let them have a little private time, please. They send Lurch over to invite the Petersons over for bridge night. And of course, Lurch's like, fine, I'll go. Morticia and Gomez are getting ready for the fun night in. Morticia's brushing her hair while Gomez brushes his mustache. And Gomez says, well, if the night gets dull, please do your animal impressions. And Morticia's like, I could do that. If the night gets dull, do my animal impressions. And he's like, do them now. And she's like, darling, wait. Darling, please wait. Patience is a virtue. Morticia then does some very impressive animal sounds. She does like a bullfrog and I think a bird possibly. I couldn't really tell you what they are, but they're fun. They're very impressive. I like that Morticia has some quirky little talents. Fester's got a gun again. Why does Fester have so many guns lately? I don't remember that being such a big part of his character. Anyway, Fester and Mama are playing. She's got a little fake bird on her head, and she's like, Fester, you better not miss. You know how Morticia hates bullet wounds in the house. That's fair. Morticia's like, what's going on down here? Why are you playing with guns, Fester? Why are you playing with guns, Mama? What's going on? What's happening? And Fester's like, you invited those crazy people over here. I'm going to be prepared in case they do something nasty. I'm ready to go. And Mama tells Morticia, like, he's really good. He has really good aim, surprising. Mama's like, I'll be good. I might just pour a little coffee down their back. Morticia's like, no, Mama, you are not pouring coffee down, like, on them. And then she's like, what about a little creamer down the back? And she's like, Mama, stop, you're an Addams, have some dignity. And Mama's like, come on. The married couple believe if they go to bridge night and they butter up the Addamses might be more willing to let them out of the lease. And the wife's like, I don't want to spend my wedding night at their house. Again, that's fair. It's your wedding night. You should be having a romantic night together. Gomez is all nervous. He's like, they should be here any minute now. He's pacing back and forth. Morticia's getting all ready. Everybody's kind of like a flutter for the new neighbors to come over. This is the first time I believe the first time we've actually seen Morticia clipping the roses, which is one of her most iconic and well-known things, is Morticia prefers the thorns, so she cuts off the heads of all the flowers and keeps the the stems with all the thorns on it. And this is the first time we've actually seen this, which is fun. Fester's outside waiting for the neighbors with his gun just in case they try something. Honestly, that scares me more than anything. I don't love that. Honestly, that would freak me out if I saw that. I don't like that. I don't feel like that's very welcoming, Fester. Do better. The neighbors are outside worried. They're like, okay, we'll go in there. We will just be kind. We'll say nothing weird. And hopefully we can get out of this lease. Morticia and Gomez then start to throw something at the couple. And the couple's like, oh, it's rice. How nice of you. You know, it's our wedding night, so you're throwing rice. And Morticia and Gomez are like, it's not rice. It's lizard teeth. Why would we throw rice at you? It's lizard's teeth. Of course we'd throw lizard's teeth. That's kind of hard to say. The couple then say that, oh, we love your decorations. We love that swordfish with the leg hanging out of it. And Morticia's like, you like it? Really? You love that? Okay. She's like, you know what? You're the only people who ever appreciate it. It's yours. And they're like, no, we couldn't. And Morticia's like, I insist. Take it. Honestly, I would love to have a prop of that. Can you imagine? Right behind me. Just like a swordfish with a leg out of it. Like a pair of red bottom Louboutins on the foot. It'd be iconic, right? They're playing bridge, and the husband's like, we like our place enough. And Gomez's like, why do you want to leave then? He's like, is it the rent? Is it too expensive? We'll cut it. I'll pay less. Pay less. I don't care. He's like, whatever to make you happy, we'll do. Thing comes by and says hi to the Petersons, and the wife's like, Morticia then says, do you mind if I smoke? And they're like, no, of course not. And then she crosses her arms and smoke comes out. I brought this up a couple episodes back. We're finally seeing Morticia smokes. Morticia likes to smoke, and you know she does. So the wife screams, making Fester shoot his gun, and the wife runs out. Morticia and Gomez are like, I don't know why they run away like that. We've been very kind. Things been very pleasant. He's very charismatic. Like, why would they run off like that? They're very strange. Morticia then worries, was it her? Was she the problem? Is she the drama? Was her smoking in front of them? Was that unpolite? Morticia then realized it wasn't them. It's their wedding night. Of course they're jumpy. They're nervous. This is the first time they've been together as a couple. That's so sweet. So they're not taking responsibility. It was them. It was their first night. That's the reason they were jumpy. It wasn't the Addams. Gomez and Morticia are now hanging up the swordfish with the leg at the couple's house. The couple is in terror. They are sitting on the floor like children in a horror movie. They look like they just got hunted down by Jason Voorhees, and they're scared. Either way, I'm still going to side with the Addamses. I think it's a nice piece of art, and I would love to have it. She gives him yet another ultimatum, and she says, either you get us out of this lease, or I am walking. I am not staying around here anymore. I want out. The husband then tells Gomez, I just got a wire from my company. I'm being moved out of the state, out of the country. I'm being moved to Hong Kong. And Gomez says, don't you worry about it. I will take care of it. And the guy's like, really? You're cool with this? Gomez then tells them, don't worry, you don't have to leave. I bought your company. So, let's count them down, guys. Lawyer, stockbroker, landlord, new business owner. 4 jobs. And you know what? Those places are making money. I just know it. Gomez and Thing are then playing poker. Honestly, I feel like we're getting to the kind of wrap up of the episode already. I feel like it went by really quickly, and we're going to already kind of get to the end of it. I feel like there's going to be some sort of little thing that explains what happens to this husband and wife. Overall, it was a pretty fun, fast episode so far. Comes running in and says, Gomez, the Petersons left all those lovely things we left at their house, like all those little gifts we gave them, they left them on our lawn. That's so strange. Morticia then decides she's going to bring over some yak to them. She's going to make some sort of dish with a yak. And she goes, what if they don't like yak? And Gomez is like, come on, everyone loves yak. Of course they want yak. And she's like, they're a little odd though. What if they don't? She's like, don't. Gomez is like, don't worry. They're going to love it. Gomez then says, Morticia, forget the Petersons. We don't need them. They're not important to us. Do the bullfrog. And so she's like, okay, boo-boo, I'll do it. And she does the little bullfrog. And that's kind of where the episode ends. Kind of odd, kind of abrupt. But honestly, I mean, it was fun. I'm going to assume that the Petersons, when they put the stuff on the lawn, they just moved out. They ran off in the middle of the night. And they kind of said, forget about it. We'll break contract, whatever. But they didn't really explain it. Unless we see the Petersons again as just like their neighbors who are kind of going to be like a constant foil, which I don't feel like they are going to be like that. I don't think the Addams have the Addams family has had that many kind of continuities moving forward, but it might be. Either way, it felt like the episode kind of was just getting to the end and they had to like kind of wrap it up quickly. So they kind of just said, here's a little joke to end with. Wah wah. Anyway, what would you guys say? If you could take anything from the Addams' living room, what would you want? I'm going to take the fish. I'm going to take the swordfish with the foot. What do you guys say? Leave it down in the comments. Make sure you subscribe and like for more content just like this. Bye! The creepy and the kooky, they're all together ooky. Mysterious and spooky. The Addams Family. You know the one. Everyone knows that song. At least I hope you do. If not,